Hello, guys. Good morning. I hope you all are doing good. So, let us start with multimedia communication technique, which is a final year subject for um, electronics and telecommunication engineering under Solapur University, Solapur. Myself, Professor Kumbhara DA, working as an assistant professor at ENTC department in Sweris College of Engineering, Pandharpur. Now, before we could get started with the entire syllabus of multimedia communication technique, uh, let us start with the brush up part. Let us start with the few basic elements and the revision of chapter number 1, and then slowly we'll start with section number 2, in which chapter 4 we have already covered, but we'll brush up chapter 4 and then we'll start with chapter number 5 and chapter number 6. So let us make use of whatever this time period that we get by sitting at home. We'll learn things and we'll revise the things which we have already learned. So let us in today's session, let us get started with chapter number 1, the revision part of it. Now, the content, the majority of the content that we'll be seeing today from chapter number 1, the important part are the video capturing, in which we will study the camera tube, scanning, interlace scanning, composite video signal. Then what exactly the television system is, in that monochrome as well as color television transmitter, different color TV standard, television receiver, picture tube, and then we'll study uh, two types of displays, that is LCD as well as LED display. Now let us go ahead with what exactly the television system is. Now, as the name suggests, television, that is, we can visualize the things which are at a remote location. Like, say, like how do we see? We see because whenever light fall on the object, it will be reflected back and it strikes our human eye, and then with eye brain coordination we get to see the things. But what if the human is not present at that location? So what we have to do is we need to ensure that the human eye will be replaced by a sensor. And here, in case of television system, the sensor is nothing but the video cameras, which actually capture the entire scene which is going at the remote location. As the scene, repeatedly I am saying, is nothing but the light energy. So whatever the light energy present at a remote location will be captured by a television camera, and it will be converted into an electronic signal. Then that signal will be processed. Obviously it will go through several preamplification, power amplification process, followed by, for the transmission of the same signal, we need to go for different modulations. Now there, as in television industry, we go for not only the video part, we also go for audio part. So amplification of the signal will take place, followed by modulation of video signal. Parallelly, similar thing will happen with the audio signal. Then there will be a combining circuitry, and then both the signals will be combined together, amplified together, and then it will be transmitted out through air in the form of electromagnetic waves. When those electromagnetic waves travel through air, it will be received by the receiving antenna at every individual's house, and then the similar repeat reverse kind of process will took place, and then we could be able to see the scene, or the video which has been captured earlier at remote location at our television set in the form of display. Now what happened exactly at the display is that electronic signal which has been converted by an antenna at the receiving side, it will be processed and then given to an picture tube, where a picture tube is covered by the display screen, which is coated by a phosphorus screen, so that whenever an electron beam strike the phosphor, it eliminates, and that way at the remote location what we have captured is light signal that we have captured, and at the at our drawing hall, or exactly at the television set, we see the illumination, that is again nothing but the light. So light signal we capture at the remote location, and light signal what we get at the output of a television set, and this is how the entire television industry, entire television system works. Now that basic part one by one we'll be seeing in television system, followed by video, television receiver, picture tube, and then the displays. Now let us see one by one. Uh, Whatever I have uttered right now, let us try to figure it out. Let us try to understand with a small video here, which will give you what the introduction, like how the television system works.
What is television?
Television really means seeing at a distance. Pictures are not sent through the air. What is transmitted are electrical impulses.
So this
A
way,
picture
the
has to be
captured
changed
images
into
will be
electrical impulses
transported in the
at
form
one
of
end,
electrical
and then
impulses.
those electrical impulses are then changed back into
Here
a
it is
picture
captured
at
by
the other
the
end.
receiving side antenna.
A camera lens focuses a picture on a
Now this is how
light-sensitive plate of glass. This
scene will
plate throws
capture
off electrons.
whenever light fall on the
In the
object.
bright areas of the picture, it throws off many electrons, and in the dark areas, few electrons. The
So this
electrons
way
are then
the
collected on
object
a
is
target
reflected
plate.
on a target plate in the form
In
of
this camera
electrons.
tube, at the other end from the target plate, is an electron gun which throws
This
a
is what
beam on
the
the
process
target
we
plate.
referred as scanning,
This
where
beam is a
whatever
scanning
captured
beam.
image is there,
It
that
sweeps
will
back
be
and forth
converted
in
into an
lines
electrical
across the
signal or a
target
video
plate
signal.
so that it covers the entire surface 30 times in 1 second. The beam that bounces back is changed or modulated according to whether it strikes a bright or dark area. The return beam is sometimes strong and sometimes weak, according to the image on the target plate. This return beam, which is the form of electrical impulses, goes to an amplifier, then to the transmitting tower of the television station and is sent out. At the receiving end, these impulses are picked up by your antenna, and they go into an amplifier in your set, and are sent to an electron gun which is in your TV picture tube. This gun sends out a beam which goes back and forth across your screen.
This is what happened
Your
at the
screen
receiving side.
also has lines, and the beam scans every other line 30 times in a second. The screen is coated with phosphorus, which gives off light when struck by the electron beam. And so you get the same image that was sent out by the original camera
These
beam.
are the deflection
An
circuit.
artificial satellite is a man-made spacecraft circling the Earth. Such satellite
Now, this is what the basic form of television system which we have just discussed. Let us go ahead with what do you understand by scanning, and what do you understand by interlaced scanning, which is the further the future type of scanning. Now, basically, why do we go for scanning? Because whenever an video signal is captured by a target plate at the television camera, now there will be millions trillions of pixels which will be captured by which will be like object from the object side. Whenever the light strike the object, there will be millions of photons which will be directed towards the camera, and there will be millions of pixels available on the target plate, that is picture elements available on the target plate. Now how to capture those millions of pixels, like how to capture those millions of pixels in the form of one signal. So if we go by one signal each for every pixel, there will be huge number of different signals which causes huge amount of bandwidth. Also we need to use a very huge high rate of processor, which is very practically very difficult, and that is why we go for scanning. Now scanning means what? Scanning is just like reading a book, where we start reading the book from the left side, we complete that particular sentence, and while we read, we took it very slowly, we capture whatever the information is written in that particular line. So we slowly start from the left end and reaches the right end. As soon as we finish reading the right side, we immediately, our eyes roll back immediately to the left side so that it starts scanning with the, or start reading the next line. So similar way, the scanning took place, where from when the beam moves from left side to right side, it is actually capturing the information. So it moves very slowly, which take almost 52 microseconds to read the information. Once it's captured it, then the retrace period starts, where it will immediately move back from right side to the left side, which is known as a retrace period, which is of 12 microsecond. So let me summarize this. One line information to get scan, or one line information to get read, we require two kinds of time. One is called as trace period of 52 microsecond, where the information is captured from left side to the right side, and then we require 12 microsecond of the time for the beam to return back to the left side so that it can start scanning the next line. So 52 plus 12 microsecond togetherly combined 64 microsecond is the time period required for the one line scanning of the beam. And if we follow the CCIRB standard, like, which is the Committee Consultative for International Radio, it states that in under B, which actually referred in India, which states that one particular image is made up of 625 lines. So to capture one particular line, we here require 64 microsecond. So if we go for the scanning rate, so horizontally to complete one line, we will be requiring a frequency of 1 divided by 64 microseconds, that is 15625 hertz, that is 15.625 kilohertz. So this will be referred as horizontal scanning frequency. Then in order to complete the entire raster or entire frame, in which we will be covering 625 lines, for that the time period required will be, or in 1 second we try to complete the 25 number of such frames. So 25 frames will be scanned, will be completely read the data from 25 different number of frames in 1 second. And how do we see the television set, or how do we see a video moving into a television set? In 1 second we will be flipping such 25 number of images. So it appeared that the entire the video is in continuous mode only. So we never appear that there are 25 images which are been flipped in 1 second. This is we referred as persistence of vision, where we take advantage, or rather the television system take advantage of limitation of human brain, that it cannot recognize the changes that happen within a very short duration of time. Let me give a simple example. If you make a circle of a if you lit if you of an incense stick, or we referred it as an agarbatti also. So if a lit incense stick is been revolved circularly, we will observe that even though a stick is a simple single stick, it appeared as a complete red circle which is like moving around. So that is what the persistence of vision, and of which we make use in terms of in the form of television sets, where what exactly we do is we capture the image one by one. Image is made up of number of lines, so we scan those number of lines, and then those images will be flipped in front of human eye for a very small duration of time, where, to be very specific, in CCIRB standard, the vertical scanning rate, that is 1 frame per second, or rather number of frames in 1 second, if we go for that, it is 25 number of frames that we scan in a 1 second, which is very good scanning rate, and because of which we see the continuity between the images, and that is how we see a entire video in front of our eyes in television set, and that is what we understand by scanning. Now there are few limitations in scanning, where if we go for continuously varying intensities slide simultaneously, like say for example, let us consider a chessboard, like where there are alternate white and black squares. Now if we start shooting a chess box where we can see ki, one image is completely white, another is completely black, another is completely white, and that way it is simultaneously changing into the brightness value. So white and black, that is very huge amount of changes are there as per as the amplitude of the video signal is concerned. Now if we go for these kind of changes, like where there are simultaneously number of images are flipped in front of our eyes, having very huge amount of changes, then if we go for normal scanning, we appear that there is a flicker introduced in between. We started observing a gray color in between, even though the color are completely white or completely black. So in order to eliminate this disadvantage of scanning, we go for interlaced scanning, where we ensure that a image will be image will be appeared in front of our eyes for double the duration. Like earlier we used to go for 25 number of frames per second. Now in interlace scanning we will be going for 50 number of fields per second. Now reason why I have called here field instead of frame, because in interlaced scanning, if we follow the earlier method, that if same image been shown twice, obviously that will get rid of flicker, but it will affect into, like, bandwidth will keep on increasing, because same image we will be showing twice. So when bandwidth increases, the further consequences started, because we have limited amount of space available. So in order to save the bandwidth and also get rid of the flicker problem, we go for interlaced scanning, where one frame is divided into two fields. We call it as an even field and odd field, where alternate number of lines will get scanned. For even number of lines scanned, we call it as an even field, and odd number of lines when get scanned, we call it as an odd field. And that is how we get eliminate the flicker in interlaced scanning. Now the image which is there in front is a Vidicon camera tube, which brief you ki how exactly image been captured in a camera tube. Now here you can see, start from the leftmost side here. The light is reflected from the scene, which will be passing through a lens and will be deposited on a target plate, which is known as a transparent conductor. Now whenever the light photons pass through the lens and strike the target, which is actually made up of a photoresist material. Now when this photoresist material, when photon strikes, the light strike this photoresist material, the resistance value get varied depending upon intensity of the light, and our aim is to capture those resistances value which varies because of the light intensity, so that the every light signal or every information which is reflected back from the scene or from the object will, if we want to reproduce the similar object at the television set, we need to ensure that the object, the lens, the rays which are reflected from the object will have different values of intensities. So those intensities need to have different values of voltages and current when we convert it into an electrical signal. So a photoresist material, what happened there is, the varying intensity is converted or deposited on photoresist material in the form of varying resistance. Now aim is to capture those resistances value, and from that let us derive our output video signal, which is located here at the bottom side, at the leftmost side. So what happened here is, when we apply a DC power source, a current tends to move through the load resistance, but the circuit will not get completed because the next to the resistance we connect a photoresist material. Photoresist material, the current will pass through the photoresist material, but circuit will remain open. And when we pass the electron gun for every pixel by pixel through electron gun, the circuit path will get complete and we will get certain amount of output for that particular pixel. And that is how what we do in scanning is we ensure that the electron gun will cover the entire portion of that particular frame. And for that you need to move from left side and pass it on to the right side, again start scanning with the next lifeline and complete next line from the left, complete the line till the right, and slowly it should scan horizontally, as well as the beam should keep moving down also, so that it can complete the movement vertically as well. So vertical oscillations are required as well as horizontal oscillations are required to ensure that the beam will move or beam will cover the horizontal portion as well as the vertical portion. And for that we need several deflection coils, which is indicated here by the yellowish color, which ensures that the beam movement will be done from left to right as well as from top to bottom. And this is how we complete the process of scanning, and this is how we capture the images through an video camera. Now here is called as a composite video signal. Here whatever the flicker kind of signal that is observed here as well as here, it is actually a video signal. And in between here are some portion, here it is some portion. These are called as a synchronization pulses. So composite video signal is nothing but a video signal information along with the synchronization detail. Now what do you understand by synchronization? Now when beam move from left side and reaches the right side, now the beam need to be direct that it should start scanning the next line, so it should move to the left side again and start scanning the next line. So in order to inform this information at the receiving end, like at the sender end, we know that beam has traveled certain distance. Now during that distance it has captured certain video signal, and that video signal will have some variety of values depending upon intensity of the light. Now when one line of information is captured, immediately after that there will be a retrace period of 12 microseconds, and then the next line scanning starts. Now whatever the time period is there in between where the beam is moving from right to left, that information we must send along with the video signal, so that at the receiving end we must know from where the beam should start scanning and from where it should return back to the left side and start scanning with the next line. So in order to send this synchronization, or in order to send this information to the receiving side, we need this synchronization signal, and that is which is reflected here in this particular image, where this portion what you are seeing is and one line information. Once the one line information of 52 microsecond is finished, then this particular 12 microsecond period starts, where the synchronization signal will be sent. Now synchronization signal is having three types of signal, that is front porch, the horizontal sync pulse, and the back porch. Front porch is of 1.5 microsecond. It is just like a breathing space for the electron beam, so that when it reaches to the right mode side, it can reverse its current and start moving back to the left side. Then there will be a horizontal sync pulse, where actually the beam returns from left to right. And then there is a back porch of 5.8 microsecond. Now why this huge amount of time period is required as compared to the front porch? Because as the beam here from during the retrace period, which is moving back the same distance from right side to the left side, in only 4.7 microsecond. So the speed of the beam will be very very high. So in order to provide ultimate cushioning to the electron beam, so that it will deaccelerate, then reverse its current, and then start scanning with the next line. Now for that we need to give certain amount of time, and that is why 5.8 microsecond is the time required for the back porch. And that is how in totality 1.5 plus 4.7 plus 5.8, so in totality we will have here 12 microsecond of the time as an horizontal synchronization pulse. Now whatever the image that you have seen is for black and white, because uh, in composite video signal we see the amplitude of the signal varies continuously. Now there it indicates there are values of gray for black and white television, where the highest value will be white and lowest value will be black. So its value varies from 0 to maximum from black to white. While if we go for color television set, we will have n number of different colors available. Now we cannot have a separate signal for a separate color, because there are infinity number of colors. So if we go a separate signal for a separate color, we will end up having infinite signals available in one frame only. And that is the reason why we here go for conversion of, or whatever the light signal that we receive. So no matter which color it is, whenever we receive that information, we go for the decomposition of that light signal. So we ensure that every color is made up of three primary colors, that is R, G and B, that is red, green and blue. So whenever any multicolored light reaches to the receiver side, we use a prism assembly which ensures that same color will be transmitted via three different setups. And those setups will ensure that a filter will be available at every end. And whenever multicolor light reaches to that particular filter, a blue filter will extract only blue color from the available light, green filter will extract only green color, and red filter will extract only red color. So that way any multicolor light fall on the color camera tube, it ensures that light will be decomposed into the different values of red, green and blue. So for example, if yellow color is there, then from that yellow color we will extract the red as well as blue only, and green color there will be absent. So that way any color that comes will be converted into the different values of red, green and blue. So that now whatever color comes, whatever n number of current color comes as a light signal, there will be three values available for that particular color. And this is how we can differentiate between a monochrome signal and a color television signal. Color television signal generally is in one dimensional signal, while monochrome signal is a one dimensional signal because it has only gray values, that is ranging from black to white. But color television has three dimensional value, where it will have the values in terms of red, green as well as blue. Now what happened, this is what is happening at the transmitting side, where the signal is been captured and it has been transmitted. Now what is happening at the receiving side, how receiver side or how a television works? Whenever we give the video signal, we convert the light information into an electrical signal, then we process it, we amplify it, we modulate it, we again amplify it, then we transmit it. And then when at the receiving it receives, how that electrical signal is get converted into an optical information or light signal, that we'll just see with the help of this little video.
How does the monitor work?
Signals from your computer's video card are loaded into 3 electron guns at the base of the monitor. There is one gun for each of 3 colors: red, blue, and green. These 3 colors, when mixed together, can create all the colors you see on your screen. Now, these guns don't shoot bullets. Instead, they shoot a powerful beam of electrons towards the face of the monitor. The beams pass through the deflection yoke. It uses magnetism to bend the electronic beams so they can sweep across the entire screen and create the picture we see.
What happens once the beams have swept your monitor? Special chemical phosphors are painted on the inside of the monitor. Energy from the electron beams makes the individual phosphors glow either red, blue, or green, depending on the type of phosphor. The stronger the electron beam, the brighter the phosphors glow. A sheet of metal with holes in it helps keep the electron beams aligned exactly with the phosphors. This is called a shadow mask. The beams sweep across the entire screen 60 times per second. It happens so quickly that you are unaware of the firing process. Instead, your screen appears to be a steady, continuous image, just as it does now.
Now this is how it works, where there will be 3 set of guns available at the receiving side at television set, and those electron guns will emit the electrons and which strikes the phosphor screen at the display end, just before the display, beside the glass. And whenever electron beam strikes the phosphor glue, there is a shadow mask assembly connected inside the television set, which ensures that the red gun will strike the red phosphor only, blue on the blue, and green light will strike the green phosphor screen only. And that is how the beam tends to hit the phosphor and it illuminates. Now, how do we see the color? So the phosphorus dots which are available on television screen are so tiny that whenever 3 dots, these 3 guns strikes that particular dot, which is made up of 3 micro dots, it appeared as a cumulative effect of R, G and B. Now let me take an example. If red color is there, then there will be a micro dot illuminated because of the red, while red color is there, green and blue value will be absent. So green and blue will not glow, so only red color strike the micro pixels, micro spot, and because of which it appeared as in red. So if yellow color is supposed to be visualized on the screen, then only red and blue will strike and the green will remain absent. That is how it works for each and every color. Now last part we will switch to, that is nothing but LED and LCD display. So LED and LCD displays, the methodology, the working principle, everything is almost same, just the backlight which is used for LED and LCD is different. Now if we go for an LCD television set, the backlight at the light source which is used at the back side, we generally go for a fluorescent bulb, which is generally a unique bulb connected at the back side, and then the fluorescent light used to pass through and synthesize the glass plate, which the LCD material is like, that is liquid crystal material is been placed in between a chamber which is polarized on one side as an horizontally polarized, and other side it is vertically polarized. So let me give you a brief insight how the assembly there inside an LCD television. But before that, let us do a small comparison. In LED television, the assembly is almost same, only with a small change that in LED television, instead of a fluorescent lamp as a light source at the backside, we use LED lamps, LED bulbs at the backside. Now generally LCD we use only a single bulb, but LED we can have multiple LED bulbs, LEDs available or in arrays, as well as multiple number of LEDs can be used as a unit, as a single also, and as in multiple arrays also. Now let us understand how exactly the construction here goes. Now construction here goes with there will be a chamber. On one side of the chamber, the glass will be connected, which is horizontally polarized. That is, light can enter in the chamber in horizontal plane only. And other side of the chamber, or the opposite side of that same chamber, the glass will be there, which is vertically polarized. That is, the light can opt out of the chamber only in vertical plane. Now let us try to visualize this. If light entered into the chamber in horizontal plane and nothing is there, the light plane remains same at the output side, or at the opposite side, as the glass is vertically polarized, there will be no light at the output side. So that if in between that chamber we used a liquid crystal material, as the name indicates, liquid crystal material, it's in the form of or it possesses properties of both, like that is, it is possessing a property of liquid, which is change the crystal orientations, as well as its it possesses the property of a crystal also, which remains steady also. Now how it works? Now liquid crystal material, before we give any kind of energy to it, the orientation of the liquid crystal will remain unchanged. That it appeared as an crystal only, that the material will not change its position at all. It will remain steady. When we apply certain amount of energy, then its material combination changes, and its orientation also get changed. Same kind of effect we can see here with the help of a small video to have more clarity. It is the liquid crystal material I was talking about. This side it is horizontally polarized. This side the glass is vertically polarized, and this is the liquid crystal material in between. So here you can see this is the earlier orientation, and this is the new orientation here. When we give certain energy, this is the light source. Now when light entered here through horizontal plane, now the horizontal plane, just because the orientation of crystal get changed, the same light can be passed through the output side, through the chamber. So light entered is light available at the output side. Now when light photons strike here, and here you can see, if it is unpolarized, or without any kind of energy which we give to the liquid crystal, there is no output at the display side. And such millions of pixels, or for every pixels on LCD screen we have this kind of setup. This is for color television, where one pixel is made up of number of stripes, and here you can see such huge number of pixels are there, and this forms a television screen. So here you can see the construction part. Your entire television screen is made up of very light, very tiny particles of liquid crystal material. So thank you very much. Soon I will start here with the chapter number 2, the revision of chapter number 2, then chapter number 3, 4 we will revise that part, and chapter 5 and chapter 6 we will take completely. Thank you.